Hello, 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 and welcome to Not University Mixed Nationals here in Birmingham. We have our fifth game of the day, which is Leeds Gremlins in the dark green versus DUF in white. So DUF started out on offense, unfortunately getting turned over. Starting Leeds' offense with a huge hammer with a layout bid. Not converting, unfortunately, leading to a turn back onto the sideline. Leeds in a zone, trying to stifle any sort of flow that DUF have. Centering again. Opting for the dump. Slicing through the middle. Got a few dump options. Well defended by the lead zone. Now moving up the sideline, got a continuation deep, but not opting to take it. Again, just off the arm. Taking a little bit longer to warm up into the games than anticipated. DUF in Callahan County. Still count rising. Looking for a deeper shot, but again, well defended by the zone. Leeds seem to be a bit more switched on in this game. Slight miscommunication, just overshot for the cutter going up the line. For anyone watching, you are watching the live stream of Not University Mixed Nationals on ulti.TV, brought to you by Hive Ultimate and ulti.TV. I am Gigi Morrison. I will be joined by Luke Burgess whenever he returns from the toilet. On camera is Felix Shardlow. You'll be seeing and hearing from him probably throughout this game as well. Another unfortunate turnover, but Leeds looking to pop it into the end zone. Well caught, bringing this to 1-0. So looking at some of the previous results from these teams, Leeds Gremlins have already played against Birmingham 1, also known as Ubu. They lost 10-4. And DUF played against Team Surrey Ultimate, or TSU. There's a lot of acronyms in this tournament. I'm quite enjoying it. They lost to TSU 9-2. So fingers crossed for both teams. This will be slightly more evenly matched, a little bit more hotly contested. Should come up with quite a close result. My co-commentator, Luke Burgess, is now joining me. Hi, Luke.
Hello, I'm back. Ooh. Well reeled in. Pass. Oh, shot to the end zone. It's high, but there's space. And DUF very excited to put that one in. So 1 point apiece. Not sure what is going on as to why this break between the points is so long, but looks like we're getting underway. I thought that pool was going to sail out for a second, but it stays in. Oh, nice give and go. Swing is a bit too high though. And DUF get kind of a free turnover. But that shot to the end zone is not reeled in. So pretty stifling zone defense from DUF, but Leeds working nicely out of it. Looking good so far. They seem pretty comfortable just to work the disc around the back. High swing. The zone's not been threatened too much so far, just swinging around the back, gaining a few yards here and there. Still a long way to go though. Just about on their own brick mark. What do you think of this zone, Gigi?
I think it's quite effective in terms of stifling Leeds' flow. This tends to be a very common style of zone to teach to pretty much anyone. It's just really easy to learn. It's straightforward, very easy to understand. So you have, just a missed bid there. We're going back to the zone. It's a style of zone called FSU where you've got 3 handler marks up at the front in almost like an arrow shape. You have somebody in the middle as like a hat blocking any sort of central passes, and then you have some wings trying to block anything going out wide, and then somebody deep.
We are joined now in the commentary booth by the one and only Harry Mason. How's it going, Harry?
Hi, I have actually finished uni, but I'm here anyway, having a lovely time at Not Uni Nats as we see a beautiful backhand up the line, but not certainly chased down. And Leeds Gremlins, I believe it is, are going to have a chance to score. It's 1-1 early days. And I believe they're going to be they're clearing out that space well, which is a nice thing to see. trying to use it, will dash along, disc over the top. Lovely score. Floaty backhand, the shot you want to take. It is 2-1 here. To let you know what I've been doing, I've been losing. I've played against Bristol and Warwick, both fantastic games. Really close against Bristol, sort of seeing some of the Nathan Sanders, who's part of the Lemmings team, going to nationals, and I don't know her first name, but Daly had some fantastic pulls. She was really getting it all the way up the field for them. I believe we may have the list here.
Somewhere. Oh, we did.
No worries, but I wanted to shout out those, and then we just played against Warwick. Hannah Yorwith was as fantastic as usual. Yeah, Megan Daly was the one taking hot shots for Bristol. Love to see it. And Warwick, Dan Wilson, being as nippy as all Wilsons are. Which is... sorry, I just had to stop for the fans. Just fantastic. I'm not going to be shocked to see those two near the top, but I know we've got Sheffield in our group as well, which are going to be a top team.
Yeah, Sheffield definitely a very strong side. They've got the likes of Helen Thompson, who is incredibly strong, also an absolute babe, have to say. She's represented Canada. She's just such a strong player, currently playing for Smog. Oh, beautiful. Thanks, guys. My head feels very well massaged now. Thank you very much. So Leeds now pulling about to the brick mark. Not a bad pull. Again coming out with his own, but this time, oh, it's a junk. Gotta love a junk. Haven't seen this one yet.
Yeah, there's a couple of ways you get through this. You can take the swing option, but you need a continuation there as well. We saw number 66 coming in there a little bit too late. The other is over the top. And when there's no wind and big bids, it's definitely an option. You maybe think if you went two hands there, sacrificed a little bit of skin on the chest, potentially comes down with that.
I mean, the ground is quite wet, so I can't imagine too much skin would be going. If it was, I'd be very worried for you. Just like, why is your skin that loose and flying off? Oh, you're bleeding. Oh, never mind. Lee's just trying to work it down the sideline, and unfortunately, just again, maybe the incorrect angle, catching in the breeze a little bit. This junk really stopping that down the line shot. Well works junk.
Yeah, no, you really want to get it off that line. Like, you can force it through a narrow gap, but it's always going to be a risky shot. Whereas swing for days. You know what? We haven't played tournaments in a while. Make the cup work themselves out. You know, make them spend some energy. We see here there are more conventional match defense as there's big yards gained to number 9. She's looking upfield, but it's the classic when you're rushing through, it's not necessarily there. Saved by number Griffin. Number Griffin moves it forward to 82. They're just putting it on the sideline, but that's number 9 again, coming down big, and she key in that point for that offense. Again, they weren't forced to take it away from that sideline. Contrast the two different things. That Leeds were just had the open throw up the sideline, whereas that junk zone stopped any up the line throws the other way.
Yeah, it's definitely a strong contrast, but from DUF's side, you could kind of see that DUF were trailing a little bit. They weren't necessarily on the back foot of Leeds all the time. They weren't really, really close. They were just almost kind of letting them get up the line and hoping that they might have maybe missed the shot. And that's possibly credit to the fact that we have had a long time off of Frisbee. Like, I can't say that I'm the fittest in the world right now. I've been to 2 trainings in the past year and a half, and it's been exhausting.
It's quite fun because we have a lot of people who, some of them have just been in a job for a year, haven't played that much, a lot of them coming back. And then a select couple people that are preparing for club nationals next weekend. And so we have this real disparity on some fields. Like I say, I've been lucky enough to play against some already. You love first game to come out against the top players in the UK, and that's what I've been forced to do. But full credit to everyone else in the field for keeping going, running hard. We are on, I think, the third game for these teams right now. And so there's still 5 games in total. There's going to be 2 more games after this. I'm going to be really intrigued to see how some of those later teams, one of which is my team on this field later today, is going to be able to keep running in this situation as the pull is taken. It's a big IO pull, sitting well. Will DUF attack it? Kind of just letting it drop to them, but taking that early gainer that you want to be able to take. We're seeing a zone again from Leeds. Durham forcing those swings. I mean, why change it if it's working for Leeds? They're forcing all those extra passes. And you know what? You have to take a 95% task 3 times. It's going to pay off, but you take that 75 over the top and it pays off. No gain from it, though. You really want a continuation from that to make the most of those slightly riskier passes so that you can get up the field. Slightly riskier pass there, but more of the save. Big throw taken. 2 Leeds players under it. Durham comes down with it to the end zone, and that's the goal. Really nice. That's much better use of that over-the-top play, although maybe somewhat risky to try and find. You know, I mean, he can score against 2 people. Do you reckon they'll back him against 3 next time?
There's only one way to find out. You can test them up against a maximum of 7. So, but yeah, that was really good work from DUF. They're starting to find their groove a little bit. Just getting some replays back. I'm not sure whether you can actually catch on the camera, but there is a slight drizzle, so the disc will be quite wet. So it won't be too uncommon to see a little bit of a slippy disc. But I mean, how have the conditions felt for you so far? I mean, you've been playing out in these in the pitches.
Well, I famously wear layers over all parts of my body, and I've got the Reading Sun hat as well today, which honestly is doing a fantastic job. I think caps are underrated in rain. Like, they really do keep your vision clean. But we are seeing a few more drops on the disc, particularly for those of people who don't, like myself, wear gloves all the time. People having to get used to them again if they are trying to wear them. But there's a couple of just maybe uncharacteristic drops, and it's difficult because it's like, is it because people are just coming back to play? Is it because it's tough conditions? Is it because they've had to wake up early on a Saturday for the first time in a few months? You know, there's lots of things that could be at factor here. And, you know, every player is fantastic, so it's only going to be down to one of those things. Because we are coming out strong again. We're seeing a zone from the other side now. Clearly they've looked at Leeds, thought, that zone is working. Let's have some of that. They're having a female handler back set, just letting their guys run around doing nothing upfield. Well, the women are working it lovely through the cup. Want to take that big gainer, not able to. But taking the big swing, that's where the space is, but they need to continue there as well. It was really nice vision into space. But now they're just having to swing it back. They're slowly losing yards. They're going to need to take a gainer soon, or they're going to be working their way back into their own end zone. There's a little bit of a gainer through, slightly risky, but good grab by number 28. Solid hands. And now back to swing it. We're still seeing the guys trying to get free upfield, not really able to. There's that big swing again. They've got that swing consistently, it looks like. But you want the upfield throw to come from it. The guys upfield need to recognize that's an option and be ready to make the movement to give that option next time. There's the gainer through the stack. Finally a hole appears. Durham with a fantastic zone. Leeds having to work really hard, and they've managed to reset it again. The big gainer again. Where is the continuation for her? It's coming from the handler. Relying on number 9's height. That's big. And now they've taken that continuation. There's the holes. The stack is appearing into the end zone. Lovely bid. As soon as they had that continuation on the swing, it just opened up for them. And I think they need to recognize it early, because that has the potential to be a very devastating effect. Their female handler is doing a great job working through that, but you don't want to be forced to take that many passes in these conditions.
Yeah, it's really nice to see teams that whenever they put on a zone, they do it really well, but also if they're playing against a zone, they do it equally well. So you could see how Leeds were just super patient behind the disc, just taking their time, looking for the first available option and just taking it. And I think a lot of teams can learn from that, particularly in the mixed division. So if you're watching at home, whether it's on the Hive Ulti stream or on the ulti.TV stream, please do say hi. We are keeping an eye on the chats, and we're wanting to just say hello. We also have Instagram. We have our own individual Instagrams as well. You can probably find that somewhere. We're also on Patreon, on Discord. Any way that you can support us, please subscribe to the channel. Please support us on Patreon. There's a lot of people working hard behind the scenes, whether they're eating sandwiches or on the camera as well.
Let's get some engagement. Let's give us your favorite uni highlight you've ever seen. Tell us, give a shout out to someone who's done a big moment we may not have heard of. Because we love to hear about those things, and we've only got so many cameras, you know, unless we get a lot of people on the Patreon. But blatant plugging aside, Durham have the disc now. Again, contrast the fact Leeds had 4 people back at all times. Durham finally bringing back that third person, and that swing is closed down instantly. They're not willing to take the big swing in the same way. They've now got 4 people back. But it's that space in the middle they really want to be attacking. Going over the top. It's marked out. Excellent work. The Durham player having to back into that. Did not have vision on the field. Would have had to cause body contact really to make any sort of bid on that could have actually got the disc. Excellent work from the Leeds player just to shut it out. And now Leeds are going to face the zone themselves. I mean, you love to see zones. It's just what everyone's always clamoring for. Because right now, the thing everyone's definitely got is patient offense as it goes big. And number 96 just makes sure there's no bid on that available. It's a little bit uncharacteristic. I think Leeds have been very solid so far, only taking those big options when they're available, but that seemed a little bit more risky to me. Durham now, that swing to number 66 was available earlier, but they gave time for Leeds to move across. If you're in the centre, if you don't have an option, you almost just want to swing it instantly to gain those yards and give the option forwards. Because now we see number 1 here who's doing her best, but she is trapped in this position. Leeds have a chance to close it down. Oh! Swiped out of the hand. It's not going to be a Callahan regardless. But yep, no contestants from Durham. This is a very clean grab from number 9, who I think has been, in the limited time I've seen, the MVP of the game so far.
Yeah, you tend to see that if there has been a disc that has been caught simultaneously by both the offense and the defense, it does tend to go to the offense. Which in this case, I think it was caught by the offensive player first anyway. So she was on defense. She was on defense. Oh! Ignore me. I'm hardly paying attention to this. Just listen to Harry.
No, Gigi is completely right about the rules. It normally goes to offense, so that means number 9 had to have a really clear grab early for that to stand. But you know what? The disc doesn't lie. It's turned early. Durham going big. They're not going to let Leeds set up the zone. Leeds back with the disc. The man with the brightest hair on the field takes the simple dump, gets it back, throws to another head-eye teammate, and potentially to another. I have just suddenly noticing this. Handler said of dyed hair on Leeds. That's a swing right to the end zone. That shot is there. It's number 9 again. Will she take the simple shot? No, she'll fake it. So number 96 bites. That's a real pro move there. You really want to take that quick shot.
Yeah, the score there for Katie Allen. Haven't actually seen Katie Allen in quite a while. Probably partially because of the pandemic, but other than that, it's really great to see her playing. Now playing for Leeds. Has previously played for Southampton Uni. And Loughborough. She's played a lot of teams, and this is coming from somebody who's also played a lot of teams. Yeah, really great work from Leeds. They're taking this game away, really trying to capitalise on anything that DUF give up for them. And Katie Allen has also been part of the GB Under 24 development squad when it ran back in 2017. She definitely would have been a strong contender for either the mixed or the women's teams, but I believe that she pulled herself out because she either couldn't finance it or just wasn't really keen on the actual structure of it.
Yeah, it's never nice to like whatever it is, if it's injury, it's finance, it's just, it always sucks, and all you want to give them is love and support. Just to say, I've pulled up the previous results for Durham as well. I have a different result for one of Durham. I have them. They won 7-4 against UE as well. is one I've got. So they were coming into this game off the back of a win, despite that earlier loss to Surrey. And so can they capitalise on that again? There's an early call of zone from the man whose dress sense resembles my own. Taking the hammer over the wall. That's always going to be the option. There's an end zone shot. Can Leeds come across? Not quite in time, and Durham finally find that. And that looked almost easy. Suddenly the holes are opening up, and we're seeing Durham not giving up at all here, coming in, fighting, despite the rain. Honestly, this is going to be their natural element. On the top of a hill in the rain, that's pretty much most of Durham at any given time. And so, for whatever amount they managed to train, they must have trained in this.
I was just about to question your logic, but having played for Smog for 2 years, yes, you're not wrong. The amount of trainings that we've had on a hill is kind of questionable. It's kind of difficult to tell whether these teams are choosing to do the gender match or whether they're going for the tournament prescribed gender ratio rule A. I haven't seen too many women pulling, or at least people who contribute to the female gender ratio. I've seen Katie Allen pull, fantastic pull from her. But other than that, I'm not sure.
My guess is that they're doing the ABB, AABB, just because I haven't seen confusion and people calling back and forth, which can happen if just they're defaulting to 4 men, which would be a little bit of a shame, I think, unless numbers are low, and in this tournament more than others, numbers being a bit lower are understandable. But it's actually been a real joy to sort of see that change. I've been really enjoying it myself, and we have a couple women on our team who are playing Oxford Ultimate next weekend who we might be using this as a little bit of practice for them so that we can go and bagel Smog. Here's how ridiculous that statement is. Gigi just looked at me and doesn't even need to respond to that. We're there for a good time, not a long time. You can feel embarrassed second half on that one. But we're seeing a cancellation of the zone now. Durham did a really good job facing that last time, and so now going for match defense. Going to ground. Ground is quite slippy. I've definitely seen a lot of people go, so may have seemed over dramatic. Maybe we'll get a slow motion replay, but still great. But I think there were options there. There were smarter options. Tried to pivot out, and that made him unbalanced for that throw. Whereas here we see the high throw. A little bit of a stumble on the first one, not able to save it, and the disc just fading away the other way as well. That's something I found as well, actually, is this rain is making your roll curves not quite as sharp unless you're really committing to them. It's much harder to get a flat roll curve that curves in slightly. It's much more like to helix a little bit, as that's a low throw picked up well by the Durham player. Top notch. This is perfect weather for knee slides, though, I will say that. No skin off the knee for that one. As a big throw goes up into space and 79 isn't aware of it. I say number 79, she's wearing number 13 on the shorts of Grey College, I believe, the Phoenix Knights. And there'll be a shout out to them. They're a historic team, have played for many years, and have one of the coolest kits for a college team. And that was looked like a good save, but to give a little bit of a peep behind the curtain, there are 2 spots in the field we cannot see, and that was one of them. The camera can see it, so back home. Could you tell us in the chat? Well, that was it or not, because we can't see it.
Nobody's really chatting.
Yeah. I mean, whatever it was a great bid. I had one of those against Bristol. We were actually up. It was 6-6. Half's obviously at 7. Made a bid. I was fairly convinced it was up, and all but one of the sideline told me it was down, and I just had to go with majority opinion. It's the saddest thing. But sending back seems like the fair scenario. I think everyone was a little bit confused about that. Great bid, though. I'd love to see more. It doesn't even need to be something you have to bid for. I just want to see more bids. There we go, backing the same person again, and why wouldn't you? Good defense, but Deed right into the hands of number 36, who has a clear shot to the end zone. Oh, I almost don't want to say the mantra. It's too cliche. I've got to say it anyway. Catch your D's. Just that disc goes up in the air. You've got to, I mean, get a hand to it if you can. Always get something on it. But if you can catch it, then catch it, because it's the thing you need to do. Although great heads-up awareness, I will say, that's one of the things I think I found is hardest for these newer people to get, particularly because we haven't had to be able to train for all of the year because lockdown stopped it in that sort of second term for a lot of unis. It's that on-field awareness when something changes. You're able to learn the first pans, the vertical, the horizontal. You're able to chase that first disc, but once something is tipped, once the formations start to break down a bit, that's where I think this generation are really going to have to work hard next year to make sure they account for that. That's my pro tip there as someone who has been coaching uni all year.
You say that as if you've been doing it for 1 year. How many years have you been at uni, Harry?
I was not coached before that. I was a player. I rounded out with 9 in the end. A 4-year master's degree, a training year for the PhD, and then by the time all the kerfuffle and handing in during the pandemic has happened, I ended up there. Taking a well-earned decompression year this year. And it has been like really fun as well to be able to help out and do that next generation. And the fact we've got even someone on our Oxford team, Griselle, who I'm going to give a shout out to, she's part of the Oxford Ultimate team. She played against Smog 2, who have some fierce women. And I would say held her own. You know, maybe she wasn't generating turns, but that is no mean feat for someone who, she started in Easter and fully earned her spot. So we have seen a few rising stars. Love to hear about any more, but I feel like the most part, this is going to be watched retroactively by the Durham and Leeds players. So, hello people, if you're watching retroactively, I'm calling you out now. See, I kind of want to see a few more fakes on it. You had a little step or two there. But when you're standing looking upfield, if nothing is developing, it's really tempting to just stay static. I mean, if you're tall and you're long and you know you've got the pivots, maybe you don't need to. But there, we see number 66. Just move the mark a little. Make them more active, and that next throw will be easier. As 96, there's a great pass to herself with a catch. Oh, and that's a nice blade. Finds the space. That is top not worth there from finding the gap.
Yeah, it was a beautiful looking shot there from DUF.
Yeah, I think faking uses quite a lot of time and energy. If there's realistic options, so, you know, if someone's making a cut or whatever, making a move, and, well, you want to even just get the defenders. If there's loads of defenders looking at you and you're purposefully moving them around your fakes, that's great. Like, that should be the primary aim, move the defenders around. Secondary aim, communicate to your team. The third aim is move the mark, you know, and that's only really if you need to. But when you get to a certain point where, like, there's not really much point in moving the mark that early, you know, because it's when you need to break the foot, you know, you can. So I'm quite a fan of just standing there being ready to see what develops.
I'm actually going to give a rare 4th thing I would add to that list of 3 things, which is, for beginners, I try and encourage them to start with a fake just to remind themselves they have a pivot, which honestly can do a good job, because otherwise they'll tend to stand there a bit static. Maybe they're making the more experienced players who do have the one-step pivot. Felix suggested standing on one leg, and always with the give goes. I think the give goes are very devastating because we haven't really played defense for as much as that's a big throw over the top. Number 9 is free. Is she going to get an option to the end zone? No, she's being sensible and safe, which you love to see. You just love to see the sensible and safe option. It's getting to high stall count now, but has the option number 25. Appeared to be faking back at her sideline. Needs a high option. It's going to have to go over. It goes over. There happens to be someone there. And that's lovely. See, one of the things I love about about Ultimate. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to talk about Oxford. The great thing about Oxford. No, one of the great things about Ultimate I love, I have been doing a lot of Oxford Ultimate chants recently, is that Ultimate is a very three-dimensional game. Unlike, say, American football or rugby, where the passes tend to be fairly flat, I find it's a lot easier, certainly in Ultimate, to put a disc out in front for someone to hover to take that, either go over the top or floating around. Oh, sorry, 4-dimensional play as well. Time is another one. I was more thinking of like taking those heights and all those different ones. Time is another dimension, and as a Douglas Adams number wearer, I have to add the 5th probability as probability, which is a deep cut from the trilogy of 5 books right there. But yeah, time and vertical distance over the top. If you just want to go out and throw, practicing with those dimensions, can you take the different vertical options? Can you make it take longer in the air? It's a great option just to try and help you out a bit. As we see half time here, 7-4 to Leeds. I see Leeds taking this. Hey everyone, I've been told my banter level isn't high enough, so I'm going to be switching back out for Luke. You may see me back later on, as they've given me a few preps for really how to hang with the big dogs. But for now, thank you guys so much. And if you want to tag me in anything, it's harry.t.mason on Insta.
Already have done. Check your Instagram, Harry. See you in a bit. It's nothing bad, don't worry.
I leave and instantly it starts.
Yeah. So, the second half is underway. As Griffins immediately throw the disc away and give DUF possession. So DUF finding open side under. Some well-timed continuation cuts from the back of the stack. Deep shot. And reeled in the end zone. Beautiful offense from DUF. Leeds fielding the pull. Bit of a side stack play.